There is a reason so many minds feel restless today, and it has less to do with fear and more to do with something quietly disappearing. This unrest does not arrive loudly. It settles quietly in the background of everyday life. It appears between tasks, during pauses, and in moments that should feel calm. The mind keeps moving, even when the body stops. Many sense that this tension is trying to say something, but they don't know how to listen. The discomfort feels vague yet persistent, as if something essential has been overlooked. People live surrounded by comfort, speed, and constant connection. Yet the mind rarely feels at ease. Thoughts race without direction. Silence feels uncomfortable. Rest feels incomplete. Nothing is obviously wrong. And yet, something feels missing. Anxiety is often treated as a malfunction, something to suppress, escape, or silence. But what if anxiety is not the enemy? What if it is a response to the way modern life is structured? Decades ago, a psychiatrist noticed this pattern not as a trend, but as a condition of the human mind. He observed that when meaning weakens, restlessness increases, not because people are broken, but because they are disoriented. Modern anxiety rarely comes from immediate danger. It comes from something far more subtle. This form of anxiety is not triggered by threat, but by disorientation. It grows when activity replaces direction and speed replaces reflection. The mind becomes occupied, but not fulfilled. Without meaning, even progress can feel exhausting. The more unclear the purpose, the louder the inner noise becomes. It emerges when life feels busy but empty. When days are full, yet direction is unclear. When effort is constant, but purpose is vague. The mind was not designed to operate without meaning. When meaning weakens, mental tension increases. This tension does not announce itself clearly. It appears as restlessness, as overthinking, as a constant sense that something is wrong, even when everything seems fine. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and neurologist trained in medicine, psychology, and philosophy, approached anxiety from a different angle. Frankl understood psychological distress as a question of orientation rather than pathology. He believed the mind suffers when it cannot locate itself within a meaningful framework. His approach focused less on what people feel and more on what they live for. Meaning, in his view, was not emotional comfort, but existential clarity. When that clarity fades, the psyche begins to destabilize. Rather than asking how to eliminate discomfort, he asked why the mind becomes unsettled in the first place. His answer was simple but unsettling. Human beings are not primarily driven by pleasure or comfort. They are driven by the need for meaning. When meaning fades, the mind does not remain calm. It begins to search, and when that search has no clear direction, anxiety fills the gap. Frankl described a condition he called the existential vacuum. It is the state of having freedom, options, and comfort, but no clear sense of why any of it matters. The existential vacuum develops slowly, almost imperceptibly. It is not marked by crisis, but by numbness. Motivation weakens because nothing feels truly necessary. The abundance of options creates paralysis rather than freedom. In this emptiness, anxiety finds fertile ground. Modern life offers endless choices, but it offers very few answers. When everything is possible, nothing feels necessary. And when nothing feels necessary, motivation weakens. The mind begins to circle around itself. Thoughts multiply. Distraction becomes constant. Anxiety thrives in this environment. Anxiety does not affect everyone in the same way. Among young people, it often appears as constant comparison, fear of falling behind, and a sense that life must be decided too early. Social pressure, digital exposure, and unstable identity formation intensify mental overload. This has led to a sharp increase in antidepressants, stimulants, and sleep medication among younger generations, alongside physical symptoms like insomnia, digestive disorders, chronic fatigue, and tension headaches. Among middle-aged women, anxiety frequently emerges from accumulated responsibility. Caring roles, professional pressure, emotional labor, and fear of time slipping away converge silently. Medication use rises not only to control anxiety, but to manage exhaustion, hormonal imbalance, and emotional burnout. Physical manifestations often include autoimmune flare-ups, chronic pain, cardiovascular strain, and persistent muscle tension. For workers, especially those under economic pressure, anxiety becomes a constant background state. Job insecurity, productivity demands, and lack of long-term stability push the nervous system into permanent alert. Medication is often used to maintain performance rather than restore health. Over time, this leads to hypertension, respiratory issues, weakened immunity, and psychosomatic pain. In all these groups, anxiety is not merely psychological. It is embodied, cumulative, and deeply linked to meaning and pressure. Many people try to treat anxiety by slowing down, escaping pressure, or removing responsibility. Escaping pressure does not restore meaning. Rest without direction often deepens inner confusion. The mind does not relax simply because effort stops. It relaxes when effort makes sense. Without purpose, even leisure feels strangely unsatisfying. Frankl believed that removing all tension from life creates emptiness, not peace. A life without pressure is not a healthy life. A life without direction is. When anxiety is met only with distraction, the root cause remains untouched. The mind may quiet temporarily, but the unease returns. Because the question was never answered. Frankl made an important distinction. Not all inner tension is harmful. Some tension is essential. Meaning introduces structure into psychological tension. It gives effort a clear destination. Without that destination, tension turns inward. The mind begins to question itself rather than move forward. Direction transforms pressure into momentum. A meaningful life pulls the individual forward. It creates pressure, but also coherence. Anxiety becomes destructive only when tension exists without meaning. When effort is demanded, but purpose is unclear. Frankl believed responsibility is not a burden. It is an anchor. Responsibility creates psychological stability. It defines what matters and what does not. When responsibility is clear, the mind conserves energy. Uncertainty decreases because priorities are established. Responsibility aligns action with meaning. Responsibility gives weight to existence. It tells the mind why effort is required. When a person knows what is expected of them, by life, by others, by conscience, mental energy stabilizes. The mind stops asking endless questions when it knows what it is answering for. Frankl observed that meaning reveals itself in ordinary ways. Meaning emerges through contribution, when a person builds, creates, or serves something beyond immediate gratification. Contribution shifts attention away from constant self-evaluation. Meaning emerges through connection, when attention shifts away from the self and toward another human being in a genuine way. Genuine connection interrupts the cycle of overthinking. Meaning also emerges through attitude, when unavoidable difficulty is faced with dignity rather than resentment. A chosen attitude restores dignity in difficult circumstances. Meaning emerges through engagement, not introspection alone. These orientations ground the mind in reality. Modern anxiety intensifies when identity becomes fluid. Constant self-monitoring increases psychological tension. Anxiety also grows when effort lacks continuity. Short-term gratification fragments attention and intention. And anxiety increases when suffering is interpreted as failure rather than information. The absence of long-term goals weakens resilience. Discomfort is often misinterpreted as dysfunction. In reality, it may be informative rather than pathological. Frankl suggested a subtle but powerful shift. Instead of asking, "What do I want from life?" ask, "What is life asking of me right now?" This shift reduces mental friction. It replaces self-absorption with engagement. The mind stops circling and starts moving forward. Purpose reorganizes perception. Life becomes something to answer, not escape. Modern anxiety is often treated as something to eliminate, but elimination was never the real solution. Inner unrest often reflects a deeper misalignment. It signals that meaning and action have drifted apart. Suppressing the signal does not restore balance. Orientation, not avoidance, brings relief. Frankl's insight was not about escaping discomfort. It was about restoring direction. When life has direction, pressure becomes tolerable. When life has meaning, difficulty becomes bearable. The goal is not a tension-free existence. It is a meaningful one. Perhaps the most important question is not how to silence anxiety, but what it is pointing toward. Because sometimes anxiety is not a malfunction, it is a signal. And listening to that signal may be the beginning of clarity.